You see, when you think of whatsoever is good and lovely, when you think on these things, you're in effect entering into awareness of the presence of our Heavenly Dad. And that is company superb, infinitely wonderful, and transforms you. Transforms everything. I mean, our Dad is the Creator. And does all things well. You know, you may have longed for company of some beloved or good friend or some nice place or some good experience. But what you really need is the fullness of the awareness of God's presence. It is everywhere. I mean, we are omnipresent. He is omnipresent. It's not that we need to call him. If we don't have the awareness of him, then we have this great need for the awareness of him. And that's our priority. And that's gained in very simple ways. Whatsoever is good and lovely, think on these things. You'll come to know God, which is life eternal, ever abundant life. All goodness, loveliness. Heaven. Kingdom of heaven's at hand. Choose to be aware of it. Be in the wonderful habit of always noticing goodness and thinking on such is the portal to the full awareness of his wonderful being, our Dad, and therefore our relationship with him. Heaven, simply that. And it's now, it's for you, it's at hand. It's not in some afterlife, it's not in some distant future thing. It's now. God is omnipresent, our Dad. And we are blessed simply by thinking on him. And that's easily done by appreciating all that's good and lovely. You could say practicing thankfulness. You'll be swept up in gratitude and joy and peace, hope, love and kindness, all blessing, life eternal. The awareness of our Dad is sanctification, is all glory, is all in all. Love you, Dad. Thank you, Heavenly Dad. So you see, we become aware of God in relation to, well, anything that's taking our attention. It might be goodness, or it might be some difficulty. And we just bring to it our awareness of him in the situation. And that is the transformation. You see, hell is to be without God, without the awareness of Dad, our Heavenly Dad. And the secular are amazingly suffering this more or less continuously. And it's so normal that it's just normal. But of course it's not life eternal. It's transitory. Whereas his company is eternal, and we as children eternal. And our rightful place is ever in the awareness of him. Our awareness of him is awareness of us. In fact, our awareness of his awareness of us is everything. And so we are sanctified by this relationship that we think upon with our Dad. Eternally, wonderfully, life eternal in heaven, his family, his joy and our joy, our reason for living eternally. By his grace, his loving kindness and goodness. Our Dad. Love you, Dad. Thank you, Heavenly Dad. Well, if you've fallen in love, you know something of this. Just to think of them, you can't not think of them, in fact. They are your everything. And as you look at the world is transformed. It's an absolute joy to experience and to see. And you walk in pastures green. You bathe in sunlit fields. God's presence always with you. Just like those moments when you're in love. And the whole of creation singing with you. And you in it. Except it's much more. Because it's eternal. It's our Heavenly Dad. Thank you, Dad. To worship you I live. To worship you I live. I live to worship you. To worship you I live. To worship you I live. I live to worship you. Oh, 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 oh. Oh, 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 oh. Oh, 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 oh. Oh, 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 oh. Thank you, Dad. So I've done 3,000 or so recordings, incarnations, to arrive at what I could have started with. In fact, what I did start with, which was a lovely understanding given to us of Merlin Carruthers' Prison to Praise. God's all powerful and loves you. Therefore you can thank God for everything. And that brings God into everything, doesn't it? Into what you're enjoying and what you're resisting. Everything. We thank God for it. And our joy and our gratitude and our peace and well-being, love and creativity, life eternal, escalates. Love you, Dad. Thank you, Heavenly Dad.